I'm sure people want to know how realistic severance really is, and if that procedure could actually be real. Let's find out. Everybody and their mother is watching Severance because it's an amazing show. From the amazing shots, to the beautiful landscapes, the great acting, the almost airtight writing, and the really interesting concept. Severance is a great show. I watched the show and immediately fell in love with it, and as somebody who studied cognitive psychology, I feel like this is right up my alley. I learned so much about the brain and about psychology. This literally speaks exactly to what I learned. So I just wanted to share with you guys how realistic I think Severance really is. And of course, keep in mind there's spoilers ahead for seasons 1 and 2 of Severance. I'm not going to go super in depth, but be warned. We're all familiar with the basic concept of severance, but just to summarize, employees agree to sever their minds so their work and their life are completely different consciousnesses. Right? We're on the same page. Let's go. I'm sure people want to know, how realistic is severance really? And could it be real in real life? Diving into the psychology and neuroscience of the show, it seems like the writers did their research and they really nailed it. Although it's fictional, they hit a lot of realistic marks. No pun intended, Mark. In the very first episode, we were introduced to an unnamed red-headed girl on a table, and they ask her 5 questions.
5 questions.
5 questions.
Those are:
Who are you? In which U.S. state or territory were you born? Please name any U.S. state or territory. What is Mr. Egan's favorite breakfast? To the best of your memory, what is or was the color of your mother's eyes?
Now, these questions, seemingly random at first, actually matter. Now, in order to understand why, I have to tell you about the types of memories that we have. First, we have explicit or declarative memories. And these are split up into 2 different types of memories. We have semantic and episodic. As the name implies, semantic memories are just general knowledge. Facts in the name of everyday things. For example, right now I know I'm talking to what is called a camera, and I know cameras take pictures and record video. Now, episodic memories are biographical events. They put together what you did, who you did it with, today or 10 years ago. For example, I remember when Tyler the Creator's Igor came out, and I first listened to it when I was in Washington, D.C., visiting with my family. That's what we call explicit and declarative memories. Now we have implicit/procedural memories. Now these just include like habits, skills, and reflexes. They're almost subconscious. For example, you know how to hold a pen, and each time you hold it, it's the same. This is where the expression "it's just like riding a bike" comes from, our procedural memory. What's cool about procedural memory is that it's ingrained in you. If you forgot what a bike was or don't have any memory of ever riding one, but you did learn how to ride one as a kid, and you lost your memory, guess what? You'd still be able to ride that bike. Now that we know a little bit more about memory, let's go back to what Helly was asked.
Who are you?
Now this is a test of episodic memory. She doesn't remember who she is or what she does. Severance is successful. Helly doesn't know who she is or how she got here.
In which U.S. state or territory were you born?
The next question is a little bit tricky because it involves both episodic and semantic types of memory. It's episodic memory because she has to know enough about herself to know when and where she was born. It's semantic memory because she just has to say where she was born. And as a psychologist, I would guess, most likely, she's able to name a state, but she just doesn't know why.
Question 3. Please name any U.S. state or territory. First that comes to mind.
I don't know. Delaware.
Bingo! That's her semantic memory showing. Independent of her autobiographical memory, she's able to name any random state.
What is Mr. Egan's favorite breakfast?
You know, this still sounds like a really random question, but we find out later in the show that Helly's actually an Egan, which means this could be a test of her episodic memory one more time. Or maybe this could just be a semantic memory question because maybe Lumen wants to get so big as a company that they just want the conventional wisdom to understand that Mr. Egan loves eating eggs for breakfast, I guess.
To the best of your memory, what is or was the color of your mother's eyes?
Now this one's another emotional question centered around episodic memory. Helly can most likely name colors, and she can also understand the concept that if she doesn't know her mother's eyes, it's kind of sad and it's kind of messed up.
Okay, what's happening?
Her reaction shows that her semantic memory is actually intact, and even such strong emotions can't make her remember who she is. The severance procedure is successful. Also, just as an aside, we actually don't ever get to meet Helena's mom in the show, not yet. Later, when Helly is introduced to the office, we know that she knows how to use computers, she knows how to write, hell, she even knows how to hang herself. Yeah, her procedural memory is intact. And we see this throughout the show a little bit at a time as well. Mark, for example, was told that his Audi is really good at pitching a tent, and he's able to do that as an innie.
Ta-da, a tent.
We learn that Irving is a veteran and he served in the military, so his combat skills and his physical combat skills come to life when he's dunking Helly into the river.
I'm gonna kill her, Mr. Milkshake!
And Dylan's just a funny guy. It doesn't really have to do with memory, he's just a funny guy.
I know you're in there, Dylan. Open the door! Fuck you, Mr. Milkshake!
So it seems like Severance is pretty realistic so far, but let's go a little bit deeper into the neuroscience. So in the show, we actually get to see the severance procedure being done and where the chip is located in the brain, and it kind of looks like it's in the amygdala, and that's what a lot of online forums say too. And yeah, the amygdala is really well known in pop culture, but it's the part of your brain that is responsible for regulating emotions. That's why that rock climbing guy, Alec Tunnell, doesn't seem to be bothered by the fear of heights, because his amygdala shows like no signs of activity when he's presented with like scary or fatal images. And a lot of people would say, oh my god, that's great, I don't feel fear, I don't feel sadness, let's get rid of my amygdala. No, you need those things to regulate yourself as like a person. If you didn't have a fear factor, you'd be running into trouble or getting into danger all the time. So although the severance chip is planted near the amygdala, it doesn't look like it actually suppresses any of the amygdala's functions. You can tell that all of the innies are incredibly emotional, whether that's Irv with Bert, Helly with Mark, or Dylan with Gretchen. Moving on to other parts of the brain, let's talk about another well-known one, the hippocampus. The hippocampus essentially is a hub of new information. Everything that you learn, everything that you see, everything that you get into your memory kind of gets stored in the hippocampus first. Over time, the hippocampus transfers those memories into parts of the brain and categorizes them to where they should be. It essentially consolidates every part of the experience into the memory. So how things felt, how things smelled, how things looked, how uncomfortable you were, how hot or how cold the temperature was, that's all the hippocampus's job to like spread that around your brain. If the hippocampus is ever injured or lesioned or removed, you'd get anterior grade amnesia. You're unable to make new memories, kind of like the guy in Memento. So it's really crucial to focus in on what the hippocampus does, but bear with me. So now that we know that the hippocampus isn't the only place where memories are stored, we have to talk about retrograde amnesia, which is losing all of your memories. And that is a lot more difficult. It actually requires a lot more trauma in the rest of your brain because, surprise, surprise, your brain holds a lot of memory all over. Sure, retrograde amnesia can be localized in some areas of the brain, but overall you're gonna need a lot of trauma in order to get that to happen. So back to the big question, is severance actually possible in the real world? Well, I bring this all up because I think, yeah, something like this could work, we just might not have the technology for it right now. It actually has some validity in the real world, and here's why. Sounds difficult, but for it to work, we would actually just need a small device that would kind of act as a second brain that would just store episodic memories. That way, the episodic memories of the innies and the outies would remain separate and therefore remain separate consciousnesses. And the reason why I say we only need a device for episodic memories is because workers, severed employees, innies, they need to have their semantic and procedural memories intact. And guess what? The brain already does that for you. Essentially, when an innie is on the severed floor, their memories need to be uploaded into the device instead of the actual person's brain. And by default, the second brain or this device that contains episodic memories would be blank, hence why innies are so confused and have no memory of what happened before. And as they gain more consciousness, they build more memories. Essentially, you have artificial retrograde amnesia. And by default, this device would be empty, starting to fill immediately as innies begin gaining consciousness. That's how you integrate retrograde amnesia. Hence why when Helly was on that table, she didn't have any episodic memories. And because all of the memories are being uploaded to the device and not the rest of the person's brain, technically it would be as if the outie's hippocampus was lesioned or removed. Anterior grade amnesia, if you will. And when the outie gets back into the elevator and they go up, the device is turned off and they're able to make memories in the real world again. So that's why I think severance is technically a thing. I hesitate to say that it's like completely real, but it has some teeny little bits of validity based on how we know memory and how we know how the brain works in real life. There's so many other things I want to talk about. For example, like, why did Gemma trust Mark when he was all bloody? There's been a lot of documentation of psychological cases where people are conducting experiments on people with anterior grade amnesia. They can't make new memories, and these people have to do like certain puzzles or tasks with the same kind of scientist group. And at first, these people are like, oh, they're strangers, I don't really know you, and they're really bad at the puzzles. But even though they don't remember ever doing the puzzle, they continuously get better at doing the puzzle because of their procedural memory, and they continuously become more and more happy and warm towards the scientists who are conducting the experiment. They don't know that they know these people, but something about them, their brain, the familiarity kind of just kicks in, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll let these guys in this time and not be so rude. Yeah, Severance is theoretically possible, and it's a great show that made me put in so much time and effort into writing this video. I just thought it was really necessary to bring up. Please, just let me know. How do you feel about Severance? What do you love about this? Like, I love how the whole community is getting together and talking about how artistic, how beautiful, how mysterious this project is, but I decided to take it through like a psychological lens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you guys think about Severance. I really want to talk to you guys more, and I can't wait for season 3. So I'm hoping that's coming out soon. Peace. Hey.